I'm gonna say I just can appreciate it more because he challenged.
Is he better than Floyd Mayweather?
To me, it's because he challenges himself. So for me, I mean, don't get me wrong, Floyd ain't no bad fighter. Floyd is a hell of a sharp fighter, but I ain't gonna say a better fighter. I'm gonna say I just can appreciate it more because he challenges himself. You understand what I mean? Floyd never challenged himself. So if you tell me who I want to see, Floyd or Terence, I want to see Terence because Terence gonna challenge himself. Floyd may be a better fighter because Floyd is slick and Floyd really can fight. People know I don't underestimate Floyd's boxing ability. Floyd has great boxing ability. Floyd is one of the best ever, but Floyd just never challenged himself. So.
What would you suggest Crawford, well not suggest, but what would you like to see Crawford do? 160?
Yeah, 160 would be the thing he do that's not been there. He finished 160 and called it a day.
And last of all, what do you think Canelo should do here and now?
Maybe retire. What else he got to prove? He did prove everything he needed to prove. What else he challenged himself. He went high as he could go. He came back down. He made a ton of money. What else he got to prove?
Really appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing content with you and Andre Ward. Thank you as always, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Wow. That was crazy. What's going on? What's going on backstage? What's going on? Trying to get it together here. Cut that off. Cut that off. Isn't that wild? What's going on, everybody? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? I'm still getting this the format that I'm getting used to how to operate it and everything. I hope everybody can hear me. What's happening? Let's get some people up in here. So the latest controversy is the fact that Roy's coming out, and I see people making the conversation that Terence Crawford, making the comparison between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. I don't know why they do this. Anytime they get a good fighter, they compare him against Floyd Mayweather because you know, come on, that's kind of hard to do, man. That's like comparing Sugar Ray Robinson and Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to separate the eras because you know each era was different. Like when you look at the NBA when they could hand check, and now versus the NBA where they make it more fan friendly so they can score and you can't touch the defenders. There's a lot in each era. It's customized, right, to the era, right? Because you had way more better fighters, or well, more competition, I should say. I ain't gonna say better fighters. I'm gonna say you had better competition when Floyd was coming up. Some even say that Floyd retired, you know what I'm saying, because to avoid certain competition. I don't think that's what it is. I just think that when you've been fighting at a high level for so long, you need a break. The body is not meant to be hit the way these guys are being hit by other professionals, right? So, people think you could just fight, but your body breaks down, and every fighter's body don't break down the same. So, I mean, somebody could fight 500 fights and they okay. But then another fighter can fight 3 fights and it just depends on who they fight and how they get hurt. How do they recuperate? What's going on, Johnny Allison in the building? Johnny Allison said, what's crazy about it, Pool? He says, Roy, the great one gave Canelo some good advice, actually. Yeah. I mean, Roy be capping, Johnny. Roy be capping. See, Roy know he kind of tarnished his reputation at the end by getting those knockouts, and Floyd went out with a perfect record. He went out with a perfect record, and that kind of gets Roy Jones Jr. goat. That Floyd wasn't, he wasn't humbled in that way. So Floyd can still kind of talk, his cash stuff. He can still talk his shit, and Roy, he kind of end up looking a little stupid at the end, right? So that's what it's all about. He wants to diminish Floyd Mayweather by putting somebody else over Floyd, when he knows Floyd is a unique situation. Because not only did Floyd have the competition, he got the names on his resume, even though everybody don't agree that every opponent Floyd fought wasn't a great opponent, but who is, what I'm saying? And this is my argument. My argument is that Terence Crawford had 2 top names. Yes, does he have undisputed accolades? But once again, nobody's talking about undisputed really don't mean nothing if you didn't have anybody in the division to really challenge you, right? If you don't have anybody in your division to challenge you, that's why I wanted Boots to move up, because he wasn't going to get any credit for 140. You see Devin Haney, he fought Lomachenko. He fought one guy at 135, right? You know what I mean? I'm not dismissing Jorge Linares and all those guys, but they wasn't the kind of challenges that's make undisputed look good. It's not like a Jamel Charlo undisputed where he had good fighters, damn near the same skill, right? Castano, you know what I'm saying? He fought Tony Harrison. So these guys could actually beat him, and he was looking bad. He had to overcome adversity in these fights. But see, the problem is when you start when you start putting, let's say Jerron Boots in is just start running through 154, right? You know what I'm saying? It ain't that he is just so head over, above these guys, right? His skill level is just so far is above these guys. You got to have that guy that can nullify your skill set, and then you overcome adversity, right? And that kind of shows, that what I'm saying, that you're fighting guys that's on your level, right? And I don't believe there's no fighter that's going to go through a whole division and they just so far above everybody, right? What I'm saying? Without being challenged, what I'm saying? Without going through any controversy, right? Roy Jones Jr. got knocked down when he fought his sparring partner. He ended up beating him. But, in his heyday, in his prime, nobody talks about that fight. I forgot what the sparring partner name was, but Roy knew it was going to be rough, what I'm saying? But he actually got knocked down in that fight, what I'm saying? And he actually had to fight that dude, but he knew how to beat him because they sparred so many times and the guy knew him, right? So it's like people just kind of like when they like a fighter in their era, they tend to, kind of hype them up a little bit. They overrate them, right? And I know that beating Canelo was a big accolade for Crawford, and I do give him all the credit in the world. I didn't think, I thought he could beat Crawford. I thought he could beat Canelo. I always said it on my channel. Nobody can't go back on my channel and say, well, I doubted Crawford could beat Canelo. But then if you know anything about me, then you would know that I always said that Canelo wasn't all that. You know what I'm saying? I never thought Canelo was this. I just thought he protected himself by not fighting boxers like who could think like Terence Crawford, and I thought he would never allow that to happen. I thought he would retire, without fighting somebody who can think on their feet and adapt. Say because Crawford is a great fighter because he can adapt, right? Because he can think on his feet. He's best when he's in there reading his opponent. He's a good exchanger. He's a good counterpuncher. He thinks on his feet. And, Canelo, he hasn't had those kind of fights in a long time. So I could see where Canelo has, good thinking ability and everything, but he's just a little too slow because he haven't been fighting those top caliber guys to keep him on his toes. That's why he got boots. You know what I'm saying? But it was one fight, too late. It was not one fight, but maybe 6 fights too late for you to go in there and be able to fight somebody who can make adjustments. You know what I'm saying? So really, it's a fight of adjustments. And I'm not saying that Canelo was just too old, but he just didn't prepare right. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to catch up with a Jerron Boots that's active and that's at the height in his prime, right? You know what I'm saying? And if you've been fighting a whole bunch of journeymen, you fighting Jaime McGee's and stuff, that's not going to prepare you to fight a Crawford, because Crawford, he can go in there and adapt, and that's how he fights. That's when he fought the Madrigal fight. He had to adapt. He likes to adapt. He excels when he just gets in there and just goes with the flow and figure out how to take advantages of your openings and weaknesses, right? He knows a lot of guys are not patient. Madrigal was different because he knew that Crawford, was one of those guys that works off your mistakes, right? So he was patient with all the faking, and it made it a difficult fight for Crawford because he just didn't come to him and open up with mistakes. So you got to be patient when you fight Crawford, but at the same time, you're still going to get your rhythm, and you're still going to have to be creative in the way you come at him because he's going to be able to take advantages of your mistakes, right? With those long arms and his athletic, his speed, hand speed. So he got a lot of gifts, right? So you got to have power. You're going to have speed, and you're going to have explosive feet. You know what I'm saying, to be able to defeat Crawford, right? So you got to have a lot of things, right? But Floyd, I mean, look at Floyd's skill set, y'all. Floyd was able to go inside. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just laughable to me how they could compare Terence Crawford to Floyd. Skill set, oh my God, not just skill set alone. You know what I'm saying? For Floyd did some crazy. He was able to do some things that I haven't seen yet. Other fighters are able to do. Y'all forget how Floyd used to go inside the pocket. You know what I'm saying? I mean, power punchers. Um, I'm talking about Castillo. Castillo was a beast, y'all. That dude, he was kind of like David Benavidez. You know, he was kind of like David Benavidez. You know what I'm saying? Down at 135. He was that kind of motherfucker. He was just tough and gonna keep coming. And he didn't matter how hard you hit him. He was gonna keep. And he fought that guy twice. Then he fought Diego Corrales. Bro, what are these people talking about? You know, Terrence only got two guys on his list that really. I know they want to give him Kell Brook. I know they want to give him Sean Porter, but none of the guys compared to the dudes that Floyd fought, man. Especially just pretty boy Floyd alone. He could have retired after he put that title away. He could have retired, right? But he went on to fight Madonna, Miguel Cotto. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we talking about? Sugar Shane Mosley, you know what I'm saying? And people saying like he fought an old version. I mean, what are you talking about? He offered these guys to fight when they were in their prime, and they wouldn't even. But just a few years later, you saw what Sugar Shane Mosley looked like against Oscar De La Hoya. Did that look like a old ass Mosley to you? You know what I'm saying? He cracked the hell out of Mayweather in that fight. He damn near knocked Mayweather ass out. So, you know, people just like to, you know what I'm saying, they make it sound good for Crawford. But, you know, when you put him up against even Roy Jones Jr., I mean, God damn, he fought Bernard Hopkins. He fought Lights Out Tony, right? Those are two names right there. Those guys are legendary fighters, bro. Hall of Fame fighters, right? So, you know, Terence Crawford, I'm not trying to diminish him, but when you put him up against those guys, you know, these are great guys. I mean, they can't match Crawford's accolades. They can't match his accolades, but accolades don't tell the whole story. You know, especially when you're just fighting one guy who gathered all the belts. So that's what I'm talking about. He says, what's going on? I can't even say what's it. Shake him up. He says, what's going on? He said, even like either one, but Bud ain't better than. Hell no. Floyd's skill set. I mean, the pull counters, man. I mean, I'm talking about that. This dude Arsenal was crazy. You know what I'm saying? He had a crazy arsenal, and I mean, offense and defense. The transition was crazy, bro. I mean, some of the tactics that he was off the ropes. I mean, he made the rope-a-dope, the Ali rope-a-dope into something else, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Philly shield, the way he used the Philly shield. I mean, Crawford ain't got none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he get hit flushed in the face, but you know, his offense is just um his offense and his you know his speed, his hand speed is what protects him. You know what I'm saying? He don't have the man, come on. Come on. I mean, it really is a silly comparison. I think this is Crawford's generation. This is era. You know what I'm saying? But to compare him to Floyd, and Floyd wanted undisputed. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Floyd could have got undisputed if he wanted it. You know what I'm saying? But Floyd's hands were so brittle. You know, he wanted to pick and choose what he had to keep his hands, you know what I'm saying, together. He broke his hand damn near every fight, you know. But look how he fought though, you know, before he turned into, Money Maker. You know, he became more defensive. But man, to me, it seemed like when he used his dad philosophy, because his dad was a defensive coach kind of, and it was more of the offense, and you could tell by the way those two fought in their careers, their philosophies on, approach to the fight. Um, so it's just a silly, silly debate. Floyd he was in there when he had more access to more competition. And I think that was Crawford's problem. He didn't have the competition. Well, I don't think that Crawford would have lost to the guys, that I'm talking about. But I just think he didn't have the competition. Um, but is he anywhere near what Floyd Mayweather represents, bro? Y'all must be didn't watch this. Well, I got to watch it in real time. So, maybe that's something. I got to watch it in real time. He says, Roy, I guarantee also said at his prime he beats both. And it may be true because Roy's a fucking middleweight. You know what I'm saying? Man, Roy was like a Gamboa. Roy was like he was fast as Gamboa. He hit hard as Gamboa. That would have been a good fight. I ain't gonna say that Roy would have beat him because of Roy Chin's situation, and Crawford got good time. So I don't know. I don't know. That would be a good fight. But if Madronov gave Crawford, and he got if Roy could get the hits in that Madronov got in, Roy had enough speed to, man, I don't know. I think Crawford would have been fucked up for a few rounds there if he would have survived it. And Roy loved to strike first. So but the longer that fight goes, it goes against Roy. I don't know. Roy was a thinker too. So I don't know. I can't just flat out say that Roy would win or Terence would win, but I give the edge to Roy because his reflexes stupid. He's still hands down one of the top athletes I've ever seen in the ring. I think he's way faster than Terence Crawford. That boy used to didn't even need a jab the way he used to hit people. So just go back and watch Roy. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I wouldn't just count Crawford out because of Crawford. They both counter punches. So you know what I mean. And just the feints, Roy feints alone would have just threw Crawford. It would have been a hard fight for Crawford to try to read. Because it's hard to read another athletic guy who can with twitch muscles that Roy had. Roy had like some of the craziest twitch muscles I ever seen, and Crawford twitch muscles ain't nothing like Roy's. But Roy depended on it though. Say Crawford had more fundamentals than Roy. So it's hard. It's like when you try to mine it out in your mind, it's just kind of like, damn, you find something to counter what you're thinking. Um, but it would be a good fight. I would just have to see that fight. But I give the edge to Roy. So I get the edge to Roy. Just because of his power, both hands, his twitch muscles, his footwork, his creativity. Roy was very smart. In the ring. So they both got high boxing IQs. I think, but Crawford got fundamentals, right? Which would probably help him later on in the fight. I don't think it would help him at the beginning because Roy was just 100% um, thunder and lightning, when it came to, just being able to connect with you, without you touching him, especially back then in his prime. He says, what's going on? I'm pretty sure, every fighter, even Sugar Ray Leonard says he beat Floyd Mayweather. Sugar Ray Leonard, they asked Sugar Ray Leonard, do he think he could beat Floyd? He beat his daddy ass, so I'm pretty sure he thinks he could beat the son, even though the son was better than the father. Which these athletes, they got their egos is on a whole nother level, bro. But you got to have that kind of ego if you're gonna do this kind of thing. You got to have that kind of ego. I'm trying to figure out how to put my logo stuff and all that on here, but this is my truth. Yeah, yeah, man. So I just think it's a silly debate. Uh, Let me see. I don't even know how to put I got to come on live like this more often so I can see how to how to put my logo, all that stuff on there. Let me see. He says Prime Floyd was up to Prime Roy in rankings. Remember that. He says Prime Floyd was looking up to Prime. Yeah, well, Roy had the more exciting. He had the more exciting knockouts at the time. Roy was a little ahead of Mayweather. So I think Mayweather came around in what, 96. Roy had done already. Had already been to the Lex and already fighting Virgil Hill. When he popped Virgil Hill on the damn side and that shit went boom. And boy, I mean, he just went down, man, holding his backside, his kidney or whatever. And that shit was crazy. I mean, man, it's just a crazy discussion to me. It's like, I guess, everybody, when you inside your era, that's your guy. That's your guy from that era. That's your guy. Johnny said facts. Why did this thing keep popping up? Okay. He says facts, Pool. He says Floyd Mayweather had questionable victories against Castile and Oscar De La Hoya fight. He says Antonio Margarita in his career, after being told he would beg him for a shot. I thought he beat Castile. I mean, I watched that fight a number of times, but that Oscar fight was kind of close. So that Oscar fight was kind of close. And of course, who wants to fight? Who wants to fight a cheater? You know what I'm saying? I'm a what was his name? I'm a ghetto. I'm Margarita or whatever. He was a cheater, man. Who wants to fight somebody that cheats like that? I mean, he ruined Miguel Cotto's record, man. He really ruined his situation, because Cotto was a solid fighter, man. And for him to do them raps like that and break down like that, that was crazy, bro. That was really crazy. Oh, you want the link? Oh, let me see. King. I don't know if you could put that. I'm trying to see. This is a new format. I'm trying to see if I can I do a link in this format. Let me see. I'm sure you can. Let me see. But I'm still, this is like my third time going in this. Let me see. Let me see how I can do this. I'll be trying to still figure this thing out. Let's see. Let me see. Well, okay, let me go to the top. And let's see. Members, reactions, participants. Let me see. Let me click on that. Aircraft carrier. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can put a link out. Let's see. Well, they got a poll thing. Okay, so I'm gonna put a poll out. Right. Let me see. Is Terence? Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Let's see. Okay, so let me do this poll. Okay, so I'm gonna start that. Okay, man, better than Floyd. Okay. Better than Floyd Mayweather. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this poll in there. Now I'm gonna see if I can. How can I do a? Let me see. How do I put a link in here? Let me see. Let me put a link. Let's see. I don't see. Trying to figure out how to put a link in here. trying to find y'all bear with me because I'm trying to find how to do a link. Oh, that's for breaks. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. There's got to be a way. Let me see. Send feedback. Channel settings. Let's see. I don't know. I maybe got to set it up beforehand. I don't. I don't know. All right, my bad, King. I have to get you next time. 'Cause I don't know. I'm like trying to figure out. I don't know. I don't see anything that allow that. It says pop out chats, timestamps, moderation activity, reactions, pop out chats, send feed. I don't see no. I don't see. I'm pretty sure they know how to do it, man. I'm just catching up with this stuff. Okay, let me go to studios. Okay, studio. I'm still looking. See, pop out dash. Huh? I don't know. I can tell I'm getting old because when I was young, I was able to catch on to this crap. Let me see. I don't see the link. Okay, let me try that. Okay, it says share video link. Let me see. Let me see what that says. Share link. That's. They want me to go. Oh, see. So that's not inviting video link. Okay, so that's not inviting. That's just sharing the stream. Okay, so here's an arrow. Share screen. Okay, that's just opening the window to other things. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't figure it out, King. I'll figure it out, King Judah. But yeah, man, I just think it's laughable. Let's see, manage stream. I can't figure it out right now because I'm on the spot. Can't figure it out while I'm on the spot. Let's see. Let me see. Let me just click in the chat, maybe. Engage. I'm trying. I don't know. I'll figure it out at some. I'll figure it out. How about? Yeah, I done pretty much. Let's see. Nope. Anyway, yeah, I have to do it when we go live from the side. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting how much emphasis they put on this conversation, right? Because I mean, they both great. It's like you can't really down one and up the other. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you can, but it's unnecessary. It really is because this is Crawford era. Floyd era was awesome. He gave us some of the best boxing I've ever seen, and it's like it's kind of like it's kind of like comparing running backs. You know what I'm saying, from different eras, or Michael Jordan to Kobe. But I wouldn't say that close. I wouldn't say it's that close. 'Cause I just Floyd just had so many small skills that the way he slipped punches, um, that what I'm saying, that put positioned him to knock out fighters and stuff like that. Um, all people remember is Money Mayweather. They don't remember the pretty boy Floyd that was walking through folks, and crushing his hands. They don't remember that Floyd. That's the one. That's the one that really captured our imagination. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Crawford was he wasn't a one punch knockout. He was an accumulative, you know, tactical, fighter, right? Saying he placed his punches well. He caught you with good shots, and then he was a good finisher. He kind of reminds me, kind of like Oscar De La Hoya used to do. Used to do in fights. He's a good finisher. Once he got you hurt, you was up out of there. Um, but I always want to see, Crawford. I want to see him. Well, he's too late now. He's 38 years old. I wanted to see him with some good competition. And I know a lot of his fans are saying, well, there was no good competition with Crawford because he was just that good. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue with that. But you saw who he fought. You saw who he fought. Okay. You know what I'm saying? He beat Spence good. He beat Canelo good, but wanted to see more than once a year, which, it really served him well because he was able to preserve himself, right? That's a big thing I always talk about on this channel, how Crawford preserved himself. He says, say Roy done lost his mind. you already know Roy be capping, man. I think Roy loved to troll a little bit. And I think he is a little bit jealous of Floyd because Floyd gets such praise from people, and calling himself better than Muhammad Ali. I think Floyd made a lot of enemies. He made a lot of enemies when he said that. People, for some reason, when it come out of Floyd's mouth, they take it very personally, right? When he say things because he's so conceited, right? He's a conceited little dude, and people take the shit personally. When Floyd says he's better than Muhammad Ali. Look Mike Tyson. He mentions this, that he don't like the way Floyd, his confidence and his arrogance, and because he's undefeated. So let the man talk his shit. They know. You heard Floyd talk his shit. I mean, Roy, you heard Roy talk his shit when he was on top of the world. He talked his shit. All of them do it. You know, Roy's like, nobody could beat me. You must have forgot. Mr. Forgot. I mean, he was on his shit when he was on. What I'm saying, everybody talked their shit. So it's just that because Floyd was so good with it, his the talent. He was so unique in the way he fought, his defense, his transition, and all that. He was so far ahead of his time that people really hate when he say he's the best. And I think another thing, you never say that you're the best. You know what I'm saying? You never say you're the best. You let other people say it. And I think that's another thing that pisses people off. That when you say that you're the best, then you're looking at a whole nother you just come off like you're an asshole, right? But we know Floyd is an asshole. So, what I'm saying? Part of being a man is being an asshole, right? Especially if you're going to be a fighter, right? Because, people doubting you and always break down your confidence, right? And they always criticize, and every fight gets criticized, right? So you got to have a strong willpower, and disposition. If you don't have a strong disposition, you end up letting people, break you down. You know what I'm saying? And so, just like Gervonta Tank Davis, what I'm saying? I think uh, Davis is probably the best at 135, but he listened to too many people. You got to be able to tune that out, and continue to get better. And I think over time, criticism like really broke him down, right? The criticism from fans, what I'm saying, the criticism from Floyd, what I'm saying, the expectations, the pressure to fight top fights, just it's broke him down. It just eroded his will, his confidence. So to in order to stay in boxing, you're gonna have to be able to look ahead, and not look behind you. If you have a bad fight, keep it moving. Look good the next fight. You just got to have kind of intestinal fortitude. If you don't have that, then you will break down and let this stuff get to you, right? That's what I believe. But Roy, I think he's jealous. I think he's really jealous of Mayweather, um, just because he was able to get away with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? He was able to get by, and to beat a young Canelo, um, and school him. He schooled Canelo. Most time a young guy like that would come in and knock out some old 36-year-old dude posing to be, all that. But Floyd was actually, he was actually all that. His skill level was just really above Canelo. And Canelo thought he was going to go in there and knock out Mayweather, right? Just like Canelo thought that he could beat Terence Crawford, right? But he should have known. I don't know. It's like, why? I don't know why Canelo made that decision to fight Terence Crawford, given his past against Laura, given his past against Austin Trout, against boxers, right? He ran away from the 160 division to 168, so he wouldn't have to face 154, so he wouldn't have to face Jamel Charlo and boxers. He didn't want to fight no boxers. So why did he give Terence Crawford a chance? He must be really thought that he was 38, just like he did Kovalev. He took a calculated gamble, right? He thought these guys, because Canelo did the same thing, that Crawford did, right? They take calculated gambles, thinking that these guys are off the game. You know what I'm saying? And then they go in there thinking that they don't have nothing left, and it'll minimize the risk of getting knocked out. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it don't. Sometimes it don't. And for Canelo, he made a just like he did with Bivol. Because nobody really thought Bivol was what he was. You know what I'm saying? Until he, started fighting top name. He just looked like a straight up and down, decent, solid fighter. But actually he's more than that. When you saw him beat the hell out of Canelo, and even though Canelo, I don't consider him to be some kind of top special talent. I thought that I thought he chose Bivol because he thought he was the weakest link up at 175, and then he found out that no, Bivol is the shit. Bivol got skills, he's got speed, he's got boxing IQ, and when you cherry pick like that, what I'm saying, that you cherry pick wrong, just like he did with Crawford. He thought Crawford was just weak, and he wasn't going to be able to withstand. Just he thought like he was going to be like Jamel Charlo, and he was going to be able to go in and outpower him and hit him with a couple of shots. Terence Crawford to be running around the ring and be on the run, and he'd never get the decision. What I'm saying, running like that, or he would succumb to his power like Caleb Plant did. But see, Crawford was he didn't know that Crawford was kind of naturally a bigger guy, right? And he didn't know nothing about that. You could tell they didn't do their research, right? They didn't do their research. So he would have known that Crawford shrunk down to those weight classes, and what I'm saying, he's actually a bigger guy. So he surprised. What I mean? Surprise! I'm able to sit in the pocket with you in exchange, and I'm a better tactician than you. What I'm saying, I'm better at exchanges than you. I'm a better counterpuncher than you. And I got a higher boxing IQ than you. Did you see some of the damn punches Crawford was doing? What I'm saying, some of the hooks when he would pull back. What I'm saying, the jab, and then turn that shit into a hook. I was like, this dude here is on another level. What I'm saying? When I saw that, I had to give it to him. I had to give it to Crawford. What I'm saying? He showed some skills in that damn fight. You know, I still can't find this link. Reaction. Pop out chat. I'm trying to figure it out, King. I can't. Your boy. I'm trying to figure it out. Let me see. Let me see. Do you click on? Let me see. Channel. Say go to channel. I don't know how to do the links. This is like really getting on my nerves, trying to figure out how to put the link in. So share auto tab. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Let's see. But yeah, I just wanted to come on and talk about that a little bit. But shit, I gotta call my damn job now. See if they got something for me for today. I got a report, but we'll be doing more pop up lives and stuff like this. Um, you know, I got to figure out how to work this thing here better. I hate when I do this and I come on and I can't figure this shit out. But we will we will be back. I'm saying I don't know what I'll be doing today. So, but if they keep me here, we'll go live. We'll go live and stuff, and I'll have a real live. So I just wanted to pop up and just talk about that a little bit. And I'll probably see you guys later on today because what I'm saying, I haven't got my assignment for today yet. But I'll see you guys later. I just hate I don't know how to put links all this stuff in this thing, but um yeah, I'll see you guys later. If I don't have to go out or go up north or something like that, you know what I'm saying, we'll go live today. And thank you guys for showing up. And I'm just getting more familiar with this format and seeing how to operate and how to put links in it. And I gotta Google it and all that stuff. And so you know what I'm saying, I'll see you guys later on today. But right now I gotta check in with the job. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you guys in the next one.